Hey guys, welcome to this video. So in the previous video, what we did was we added all these two elements inside our page and we made a profile page. Also, we did add these two columns inside our database table, and we did all this. So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be customizing these two, and I'm going to be adding a edit profile page as well. So yeah, let's do that. Now what I'm going to be doing at first is I'm going to be customizing this, but before I do that, I'll just go to my controller and make a function for editing our profile image. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll just write down public function, and I'll name it edit profile. You guys can name your function whatever you want. So edit profile, and then what I'm going to be needing in this edit profile page is I'll need these two variables that we created here, so we can have so when I click on edit profile button, it should take me to the edit profile page, and then when it takes me there, it should give me that specific person's ID, and with that specific ID, I can change that person's profile and background picture. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be using the return view, and then I have to make a page. So the same procedure for this, I'll just go to resources, views, tutorial, and then I'll make a page, and I'll name this page edit profile.blade.php. And then what I'm going to be doing here is I'll just write the page name here, so profile edit page here, and then I'll also compact this, so compact and data here. As you guys can see, now what we have to do is we have to go to the edit profile page, and I'll do the same things here, extend my master page and also the section. So my section is called TUT. Now inside this section, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pasting the whole code that I copied from my template inside the edit profile page. So I'll copy it from here and paste it right here. Now what we need to do is we need to have a button inside our profile show page. So when we click on that button, it should take us to the edit profile page. So I'll just edit one of these buttons. So let's go back to the profile show page. Now let's find the social light buttons. So yeah, this one's called Facebook. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'll just customize the Facebook button. So before I do that, I just want to go to web.php to make a route for our edit profile page. I'll copy this route, paste it here, and change the URI to profile edit, the function to edit profile, and then the route name to edit profile. Now let's go back to our profile show page, and right here I'll just write down route and then edit profile edit. Perfect. Now let's go back, refresh this, and if I click this, it should take me to it's taking me to profile edit page. So that's cool. But I did notice one thing. When I click on this button, it's creating a new tab. As you guys can see, it redirected me to the new tab. So I don't want this now to what I can do is I can erase the target blank, and now let's go back, refresh this, let's go back to profile page, and let's click on this, and there it goes. You guys can see now it's working fine. So now what we have to do is we have to add a few inputs here, so the user can change his name and email. So to do that, I'll go back to my controller, the template, and then I'll go to profile edit, and I'll copy a few input fields from here. So I'll just copy this. It looks nice. So right click, inspect, and then I'll copy the whole card. Let me see if the card belongs to this element. Yes, it does. Now I'm going to copy the whole element, and inside the edit profile page, I'll remove this, and instead of that I'll paste the code that we copied. Now let's go back to our template, refresh this, and yeah, it looks nice. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be getting rid of these. So yeah, let's do that. Now I don't need the title for this, so I'm gonna erase title from here, and then we don't need the profile picture, so I'll also delete this from here. Let's go back, refresh this, and as you guys can see, it looks pretty nice. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be changing the name. So I'm going to change current password to email, or username, and then new password to email. So yeah, let's do that. So let's change the current password to email and new password to username. I will also change the placeholder, so it says current password. I'll change it to let's change this to username, so it look nice. Username and email. It looks nice now. So instead of current password, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be writing email at example.com for placeholder, and I'll do the same thing for username. I'll just go username here, and the type, I'll make this text, and or I can make this email. I got confused a little bit here, so I should have typed username inside this input field and the email one inside here. So it's okay. Now email at example.com. Here we go. It looks nice now. Everything's fixed. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll change this into text. Now let's go back to our page, refresh this, and yeah, it looks very nice. I can also remove these, but I'm not gonna do that for the sake of this video, because I don't want this video to be too long. But if you guys want to remove it, all you have to do is just remove this class, that's all. But anyways, so we don't need the confirm password field, so I'll just erase this from here. Now let's go back, refresh this, and yeah, it looks pretty nice. It looks nice. So now what we have to do is I don't really need these two buttons as well, so I'm going to remove these buttons. I'll leave these social light, one of them I'll leave it, so I can change my profile, and I'll also remove one of these buttons. So the logic is something like this. Now when I click on this follow button, it should change my profile, the background picture, and when I click on this Facebook button, it should change my profile. So yeah, now to do that, it's pretty easy. What we have to do is we have to go back to our controller and then make a function. So I'm gonna make a public function, and I'm gonna name this store profile, and then I'm gonna access the request of $request, and inside here what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be writing down the code. So first things first, what we need to do is I'll copy this from here and paste it inside my store profile function, so we can get that logged in user's data. Then I also need this as well to find which user is logged in, so we can store that user's information in our database. Now what we have to do is we have two more input fields, as you guys can see here, the username and email. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding these two input fields here. So I'm going to use the data variable, and then I'll change the name with this. So access my database column name, which is called name, and as you guys can see, it's called name. So yeah, name equals to request that I get from my input field, and my input field is also called name. Now I'm going to do the same thing from here. I'll copy paste this Instead of name, I'll write down email, and then I'll do the same thing here, email. Now if I go back to my edit profile page, now what I have to do is I have to name these input fields. So this input field, I'll name it name, and then the other one I'll give it a name of email, so we can update and store data into our database. Now what we have to do is we have to write a condition, an if condition for saving a picture into our database. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using an if condition, and then I'll say request. If I have a request, or if my request has a file, and my file is called profile image, so if I have such file, then what you have to do is you have to validate that first of all. So to validate that, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using the request validate, and then I'll write down the input field name. So I don't have it now, but I will create that. So profile image, my input field is going to be called profile image, and since it's going to be an array, so I'll use this arrow. So now required image of memes, and I'll give it a type of PNG, JPG, GIF, JPEG, and I think that's enough. So now let's close that, and let's write down the code for storing a picture. Now I'll take another if condition, and I will say inside this if condition, but before I do that, I'll just declare a variable for duplication. So I'll just say a variable of del. Now what del will do is it will go to this path uploads/users, and then I will concatenate this with the data variable. So data, get me the profile image that comes from our database column. So as you guys can see, it's called also profile image. Now what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be taking an if condition for duplication. So I'll just write down here, if file exists inside the del variable, if a duplication file exists inside this del variable that goes to this route, then what you have to do is you have to delete that file. So file and delete. Or what are you going to delete? You're going to delete the del variable that is inside this route and is looking for a duplication file. So there we go. Now what we have to do is we have to import this file. So I'll just click on right click on this, import file, and it's the first one. So yeah, import file, and that's how you can delete duplication images inside your duplicate images inside your folder. Now what we have to do is we have to make a variable for storing our image inside the database. I'll just type in file, and then I'll go with request that comes from file is called profile image. A request that comes from our file, which is called profile image. Now if a request comes from that file, what you have to do is you have to give it an extension. So I'll just make a variable called exe, and then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be concatenating that extension with this file. So I'll just say get client original extension. You guys can also use the get client original name. So yeah, now what we have to do is we have to make another variable for and I'll just call it file name, and in this inside this file name I'll write down profile, so I don't get confused when I am changing a profile picture. The image would have this tag with it. So profile, and then I'll access the micro time function. So micro time, and then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be concatenating this with the exe variable that we just created here. Now another thing, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be moving my file to the public folder. So file, and then I'll access the move function. So file move uploads slash users, move my file to users, and then the file name, give it this file name once you move it. Now Another thing what we have to do is we have to save that. So I'll just access the data variable, and then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be accessing the profile image column name and then the file name. So file name, and there we go. This is how we can store pictures inside our database. Now what we have to do is I also need to do the same thing for the background image. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll copy the whole if condition from here and I'll paste it right below the profile one. Now I'm going to be changing profile image to background. So profile image to background. Do the same thing here. So my database column name is also called background image, as you guys can see here. Now I'll change this profile to background, and when I am saving a background picture, what you have to do is you have to give my background image a name of background, and just like that. Background image. Now what we have to do is we have to save our data. So I'll just go and type in data and then save, and return redirect to the route of profile show, and I'll give it with a message success. I'll just type in admin profile has been successfully updated. You guys can throw any message that you want, and yeah, so we're done here. Now what we have to do is we have to go to our edit page, and inside the edit page what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be coding the inside the src tag. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to just take double curly braces, parentheses, and then I'll type in URL, and inside this URL I'm going to just say go to the uploads and then users folder, and then once you're inside the users folder, what you have to do is you have to access the data variable that we created, and with the data variable you have to show me the profile image that comes from my database column. So yeah, profile image, just like that. And then what we have to do is we have to make another one for that was for the background change, and now what we have to do is we have to make another one for profile. So let's find another img tag. It should be around here, so yeah, let me find it like this. img, I think there's only one img tag. Okay, no problem. So yeah, let's just check this one out, and then we will customize the one for background as well. So yeah, now let's do the same thing for username and email. So I'll take double curly braces, and inside here I will access my data function, and with the data variable, and with the data variable I'm gonna access my name, and then the same thing here, so data variable, and then my email. And yeah, I think we're done here. And then there should be a button here, so I'll just remove this cancel button from here. Instead of a link, I'll make this a button. So button, then I'll erase the href, and instead of that I'll just type in type submit. Now what we have to do is we have to add a form here as well. So I'll add a form tag right here. I'll take a form tag, and inside the form tag I'll just type in route, and what we have to do is we have to make a route for our profile store page. So I'll just go here and make this profile store. Our function was called something like store profile, so I'll copy it from here and paste it inside the route, and then profile store. So profile store. Now let's go back to the edit page, and inside the route I'll just type in profile store and a method of get. So a method of post, sorry. So method of post, and then also a CSRF token, and I'll cut the ending form tag from here and I'll paste it right down here. Now let's go back and check if it's working or not. Now if I click on refresh, as you guys can see, we don't have any images here, so it's going to show me that. Now one thing I forgot to do is I forgot to make a button for changing the profile picture. So instead of a button here that says Facebook, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making this an input field. So I'll just erase all this from here. Input, and I'll select the type as file, and then I'll give this a name of profile image, and then what I'm going to be doing is I'll give it an ID of image and another thing. Okay, so that's it. I think I don't need anything else. Now let's go back and refresh this, and yeah, there it goes. You guys can see. Now let's select an image. I'll select this one, and I'll give it a name of let's just cheeseburger or whatever, and then I'll just go with this email. Now if I click on update, okay, it's throwing the post method is not supported for this route. Okay, no problem, so we'll fix this as well. Now let's go to our route, and I have the route as get here. We have to make this a post, so route of post, and then let's run the php and migrate optimize command once again. Now let's go back, refresh this, choose a file, username, I'll give it cheeseburger, and then admin. Now let's click on update. Now let's go back to our database, refresh this, and yeah, there it goes. You guys can see it says cheeseburger and the email. Now what we have to do is we have to go back to our edit page, and let's see if the profile has changed. Okay, the profile has not changed. It's okay, I'll check the code. Now let's go back to profile edit page. Now what we did here was concatenate it with the profile image. So let's go back to our database, refresh this, and okay, so the image is not picking up on the database profile image columns. Okay, it must be something wrong with our controller. So what I did here was, instead of a file exists inside my profile image, I don't see anything wrong with this, so I'll just run the php artisan optimize command once again. Now let's go back to our page, refresh this, and let's unpick this. So as you guys can see, it already has an image here, but it's not showing, it's not shooting it out to the front end, so we have to fix that. Now what I can do, instead of URL, I can also use the asset So uploads, users, and then my profile image. And this is my input field name. It's called profile image. I get a value of these as well, so I'll just go with value, my data variable, and then name. Email. Let's go back, refresh. Yeah, so the name and email is also picking up. Now when I click on this button and I select an image here, it should display as the image here. But when I click on update, and if I go back to my page, the image is not picking up on this field. So but is it picking up on the database? Now let's go and refresh this. Yeah, it's not. So what could be the cause of that? Now let's go back to this page and let's figure this out. What could be the cause of this? Oh, okay. As you guys can see, so I forgot to type in the enc type inside my form tag. So enc multi-part form data, and now I'm gonna run the php artisan optimize command once again. I'll refresh this. I'll choose an image, this image. Now let's go back, update this. Now if I go back to my edit page, and there you go, as you guys can see, the image has picked up on this element. Now what we're going to be doing is, in the next video, I'm going to be styling these two buttons, and I'll also change the background picture as well. So stay tuned for that, and if you have any questions, make sure to comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.